it's not like the human race is going to die out because we don't have enough babies. The problem is we're not going to have enough babies to keep the pockets full
That's
that want all the workers or want all the investors or want all of the taxpayers or whatever it is, you know.
yeah.
Well, that's not my problem. My problem is only to live my life with my family, surviving as best I can, and do whatever good I can in the world while I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to
Grandma's
Grandma's
not
Not
right.
Right. Because we're not right.
Nope.
Nope, we are not.
I will never be right.
You know what? I refuse to grow up and I refuse to be what society thinks should be right.
That's right.
It ain't gonna happen. Nope.
That is correct.
Yep. So, anything exciting or interesting happened to you this week?
Um, well, I'm not feeling up to par. Ever since I
Um,
got back from a gig that I had, I think it was raining, it was cold, it was in Bakersfield, and the
mhm.
roll up door to the backstage was like right there, and I just think, and then the room was cold, but I'm like, yeah, it's cold, but I don't think about my throat or my lungs or whatever. So since then, it started building up, but I didn't get sick, no fever, nothing. So it's been okay, but so my
Yeah.
whole body though feels blah.
Hmm.
That's it. What about you?
Yeah. If you have the same thing that Mike and I had, it's like I'm only now starting to feel somewhat normal.
Yeah,
So it's like a 3 to 4 week thing. You're not contagious. You don't get a fever. You just feel like crap, and you cough.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that it doesn't get any worse for you.
Yeah, I mean, my lungs are already bad as it is, so I'm like, no.
I know.
And I had band practice with my other band on Saturday, and so I missed last week because I wasn't feeling good. So I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna show up, but I don't know what I can do. And then I went to the dentist today to get a cleaning. My what I thought was a well, we're not going to get into it today, but just a free cleaning. And then there's always more, and it's
Oh, yeah.
warranted because I want to have my teeth nice. But it's frustrating that it's like I've got benefits working for the county, and I'm thankful that it's like it's a $9 cleaning. Okay, I can do $9. Some people really can't though, and it's just like I get free dental. Oh, you get free dental. Yeah, you don't have to pay monthly, but I'm on a payment plan right now because I had like $8,000 worth of work done, and thankfully they sponsored me, at the dentist, and
Mm-hmm.
I can pay it off like a car payment, and it's worth it for me, and I'm lucky that I can pay that. But there's a lot of people who can't,
Yeah.
and it's
Frustrating.
frustrating, you know.
Oh, that's a whole other subject for a whole other
Oh
podcast.
Lord, yeah.
Healthcare. Yikes.
And then the only other thing I'll leave you with this for you tell me about yours. Widdershins has been peeing everywhere. I'm pretty sure it's the
Oh,
beginning of the end because she's 18 this
she's
spring.
incontinent.
18. And
18.
she's just a bitch. She's an incontinent bitch. And I will shed one tear for that cat. One tear because I feel bad that she's hated life. She hates life. She hates everybody and everything in it. So
Yeah.
but
She's
no,
ready.
so
Yeah.
it's been frustrating having to get down on my hands and knees, and that's not good for my lungs either. I know I've been breathing stuff in. I come home every day and I'm like, it smells like it's happened all over again. I'm
Oh,
so done with it. I don't have time for this, so I'm already not feeling good. And I've never wished for an animal to die more in my life. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't. Panda suggested I take her, find someone maybe who could take her. No, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to take care of this cat.
yeah.
Like they're just going to have the same problem. I'm not going to say, hey, who's going to take my 18-year-old cat? I'm going
Yeah.
to look like a real douche. I'm not going to do
Pee
that.
all over the house. Oh, yeah, but you know what? She's
So,
lived a full life. It's like, you shouldn't feel bad about it because,
no, she's lived in the lap of luxury for the last,
yeah,
she's had a stable home now for 10 years. So,
and she's obviously on her way out. That's one of the main
yeah.
signs, that the
Yeah,
old
you went through
age
that a
catching
couple of
up.
years ago.
Yeah. Well, let's see. My story for the week. I had a pretty good week. There's nothing that exciting to talk about. But this morning, talk about the dentist or talk about teeth. Um, I, I don't know when this happened or how it happened, but all of a sudden this morning I had this little teeny sharp spike sticking up in one of my back molars. And I thought at first that a piece of tooth had broken off and this was just like a little spike left, because I have a tooth that's completely crumbling anyway back there.
Yeah.
But it's a filling that's old,
Okay.
that's falling out. I've had this filling for probably 40 years.
That's good. Dr. Gillen was a good dentist.
Yeah, it was good. So anyway, I'm like, great. Now I gotta, because it was like I couldn't talk or let my tongue be over there because it was cutting it up.
I've had that. Oh, it's awful.
Like a big spike,
Oh.
And I kept trying to look at it and see what I could do, and I was getting Jason ready to go, and I was fixing breakfast for Mike, and it was like, getting the morning going. And once I got everybody ready, I told Mike, I said, I got this thing on my tooth. Can you see it? And he couldn't see it. So I thought, well, I mean, what's the worst that can happen if I try to take care of it myself, right? So I thought, if I can get some really strong, clippers,
Yeah.
some really strong clippers,
Oh, Lord, Cheryl.
then I can just try to snip it off so that it's not a sharp spike. And I told Mike, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know."
If Mike thinks it's a bad idea,
right?
It's a bad idea.
So he goes out in the garage, and he's loading his truck, and he comes back in with a metal file, and he said, "You should probably use this instead." I'm like, I'm not gonna put that dirty, rusty metal file in my mouth.
Get out of here with that shit. You better put that.
Even if I wash it and sanitize it, it's like it's big. It's for filing big things. It's not for my teeth,
No.
So this is gonna really sound gross, but as long as it's been cleaned and sterilized, it doesn't matter, right? The only thing I had that I thought could do the job were claw clippers. Now these are not claw clippers we used for the cat.
Okay.
These are big clippers Mike uses for his toenails.
Oh my God. Well, he's your husband, but this guy had toenails that cut your sheets, so that tells you how sharp those claws got to be.
So with that, because the regular ones wouldn't work, so we had to get these things.
Oh my God, I cannot believe.
So I took them and I washed them really good in like dish soap, just washed them really good, hot water, dish soap, and then I took alcohol.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm sure. I know.
I totally sanitized them really good.
We were raised by a nurse. We know what to do.
So then I'm like, okay, here we go.
Oh my God.
I put my glasses on so I could try to see it. I still couldn't really see it, but I could feel where it was. So I just put that thing in there and I felt around and I thought I was on it and I squeezed it and I heard a clip. And I put my tongue there and it was gone. And I spit in the sink just in case it was in my mouth, but I never did see what it was. But I do know that it was the piece of the filling. So it was metal. And the reason I know that is because when I went to put the thing in to cut it, I could see where it was, and it wasn't tooth. It was right where the filling is.
Yeah.
So somehow something I ate either disturbed
pushed it up,
filling, or I don't know. I don't even know what it was, but it's gone.
Damn, that's a hillbilly way right there, though.
I'm telling you. So I said, who needs a dentist?
Oh, well.
So anyway, no, I know we need dentists.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. When I had that broken crown, and it was same thing. It was sticking up, getting my tongue. I was desperate. And before I went in, I got a fingernail file, brand new fingernail file, because it was, not been used, not just saying, my own fingernail file, but the fact that I wanted it not used, so it was nice and, tough. Yeah. And I filed the shit out of that crown. Because same thing, just to get it so it wasn't sharp, because it kept cutting my tongue. It was terrible.
Yeah. Things you do, but we got to do what we got to do.
The things we do, we don't know if the general public does that or they just lie about it.
I don't know. All right, so I did a lot of, I watched a lot of different YouTube videos and podcasts and things like that. And I kind of went down this rabbit hole uh, of different people talking about the Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation and just all of this stuff
Right, right.
that I always thought was just ridiculous and conspiracy theories and whatnot, right? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Handmaid's Tale. We're all going to be going down that road soon because of the Heritage Foundation, whatever. But then I started to really think about all of the laws they're trying to pass, everything they're doing in the different states, what's happening with voting, but mainly
Right.
what's happening to completely neuter any power that women have. And it dawned on
It
me,
seems
okay,
like.
they're definitely starting with the little low fruit, you know, to neuter as many as they can, and then they're just working their way up. And it's just funny how people don't realize that, you know. But in
Yeah.
the midst of all this, I came across a lot of videos, and I should have brought them up so I could share them with you, but we'll do that another time. But
Well, and you sent me some stuff that I
well,
was
now
like,
talking about
yeah.
videos of and the podcast that I sent you the links to, um, which I'll probably put in the description, by the way, for the viewers, so that you can go check them out because they're
Yeah.
really heavy into women's rights, so it's pretty cool. But they have in them clips or stories about other male podcasters who are whining and complaining or all concerned about the decline in the birth rate in the US and
Yeah.
how so many of them can't find a woman
Who
that
will have them?
will have them. That they're having trouble finding a partner. And so so I thought, let's talk about this. The declining birth rate. Let's talk about
Let's talk about it.
why and how and
All
so
right.
what are your thoughts? What would you think would be one of the reasons?
Well, I can tell you, my daughter was, I think, 30. She's 29 or 30 when she technically had her daughter. And her best friends are all in their 30s. Two of them are 36, 37, and haven't had any kids yet. One just got married and I think they're going to be 37. One of her friends, I think, has decided not to have any kids at all. So in her little group of, that she best buddies in school, but then two of them had kids like her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know your daughters too were in their 30s, and then you have one daughter that's 34, 30,
Thir
32.
she's 34.
Yeah, and she hasn't yet. Uh, So, we have a brother who both the women that he had married, neither had children, and they're now in their 50s. So, I mean, it's not like it's a new thing. I mean, you got people in their 50s, but it's getting higher and higher. I just think that first of all, they're tired of the way they've been treated with men, and it's hard, just as hard for a woman to find a good man. So you're not, if you want to settle down and have a family with somebody, it's got to be the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, we always joke about, I used to tell you, if you got married again, I'd be getting started to think it was you and not them. But but it's that same thing where, you fought hard for your relationship, and it was great. I chose not to fight as hard because I felt for my situation and me, it was not the best thing. But have been searching for Mr. Right my whole life. That's what I had done because that's what was in my head for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason through society. That's the way you probably were raised too in the 70s. You get married. You don't need to go to college. You're a woman, you know? So I just think now it's just, there are so many opportunities for women, and they're like, oh, I don't want to start a family yet because I want to go to college and finish. I want to get that career going, and
Right.
then they get the career going, and then they can't find a man that's going to fit that. I don't know
Mhm.
that it's just
Well,
just what it seems to me.
I like what you brought up about the uh, you know the shift in, it's really a shift in the social norm now for women to go to college, get into a career, and decide, wow, I don't even know if I want to have children, or it's going to be a long time before I do because I've got a
Yeah.
career now, and then you've got a college education to pay off. Um,
Yep.
but I also think, and you said something that made me think about this too, that one of the things that women are blamed for is, or that, and the decline, and we're going to get into that in birth rate is and marriage actually, is because women went to work.
Oh
It's
yeah.
because women want careers now. It's because women want to be educated, blah blah blah, right? So they're blaming it on that. And
Yep.
I just find it really hilarious, number one, that that they really think that that's all we're good for, is to have children for them. Now, some people will say, well, isn't that what the female species is meant to do? Well, sure, but we're conscious, aware beings.
It's what we're able to do.
We are the
It's what
only
we're
beings
able
that
to do.
really have choice. Yeah, it's what we're able to
Yeah.
do.
Not
We
what
were
we're
given
required to do.
choice, because of the way our awareness works and our self understanding and consciousness. So we have a choice in what we do in life. Um, and I don't think they've really ever understood that. I don't think guys have
No.
ever understood that. That
Well, and
your freedom means my freedom, dude.
I have, I'll just say I heard from a young male that was in my life, in my circle, that once, I got two stories real quick. One was they were upset because they were on dating kind of sites, and there were known trans women on there, and they were pissed because they felt they got fooled and said, I want to have a family, it's not right. And I said, but wait a minute. I go, that's what your thing is, that they can't have kids? And that was the big, yeah, and I said, but if it was just any other woman, if that woman couldn't have kids, at what point, in which date, or is she supposed to put on her profile, I'm barren, or my tubes are tied, or give you the rundown of their medical? Like, you don't do that when you meet somebody. Do you meet somebody and, oh, before we go on this date, I just want to let you know I can't have any kids,
Well,
I'm
don't.
just saying, like, and then the second part, I'm sorry, and then the second part is like what you just said. Well, women wanted to go back to work. Now it takes two incomes and they don't want to stay home with the kids. And now it's, they're trying to raise these kids with two people working, all that stuff. And it's like, okay, technically that's true. We can't deny that there was a change, that happened. The difference is we shouldn't have to have a two income. Some greedy bastard saw that, oh, well, women are making an income too. So now we can charge double because now there's two incomes.
Right,
I mean, come on. Why is it magical that women working, and now it's more expensive and it
right.
takes two incomes? That's
No, it
no,
was all
what,
dreams. It
yeah,
wasn't money.
right. Yeah.
I was gonna say though, um, I think on those sites, don't they, when you fill out your profile, don't they have a place where they ask you questions like that? Like, isn't there
Do
like an
you
interview?
are you interested in having
Are
children or
you
whatever?
interested in a family or children or?
Yeah, probably. But see, they're interested in family, right? So you're not okay with adoption then. So you want it
Oh,
to be your
gotcha.
biological. I think that's what this was, a young person at the
Right.
time. So I think they didn't comprehend what I was saying. It's like, okay, well, you there's plenty of people that do surrogacy or whatever. So why don't you just say the truth? I want to have a biological child, and
Right.
that's why I have a problem with it. And see,
And
that's the
that's
trans
great.
people and the gay people. The trans people are going to get blamed for low birth weight too. But that's funny because there's so many kids that need adoption according to the pro-choice, pro life people.
Right.
But there's so many kids that need to be adopted. Well, if there's so many kids that need to be adopted,
Mm-hmm.
then it shouldn't. Why is there a low birth rate? Then there's plenty of people having kids that are getting them taken away apparently, or they're dying, or whatever's happening. So I don't know. Excuse me.
Well, I feel too like if you, whether or not a person who is gay or trans is on a dating site, they would have not chosen to have children whether they were on the dating site or not. So that's, you can't
Well,
get
but they
mad
still
at
might.
somebody.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. There
And
could be a woman who's not trans who
right.
marks, I don't want to have kids. Does that mean you're going to go pass?
But my reason for bringing that up is because that they can't say that that is part of the problem with the decline in birth rate.
Oh, I
That
see what you're
there's so
saying. Yeah, yeah,
many
yeah.
people
Sorry.
who are now gay and trans.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah. That
because
doesn't. That,
they
yeah.
existed before that. They just
No,
weren't
I see what you're saying.
out in
Yeah.
public about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
they wouldn't have chosen that anyway. And a lot of them probably, if they did have children in the past, it was because they were so afraid to come out in public that they just gave in to the pressure
Oh, okay.
of having a traditional relationship and
Right.
birthing children or
Yeah.
creating children. Sorry. Anyway, so that it's like it is such a big deal that there are so many podcasts now out there about this horrible crisis. And but it's mostly, I don't think I've seen a podcast from anyone, maybe a couple of them that might be somebody that's a person of color. The majority of them are white males that are, late 20s, early 30s,
Most
single,
of
by
them.
the
Yeah.
way, that are complaining about this. So it's
There's
like,
that one British dude though. That isn't he? Is he? I don't know what nationality he is. I thought he was black or mixed, or I can't remember. Maybe he's not.
I think I know who you're talking about.
So, not that it matters, but like you're saying, if you want to go with statistics. But I think the thing about that guy in particular, God, I can't remember his name, but that guy in particular was he's he draws you in with, like, oh, he looks like he's going to be, like a mediator type, but then
Right.
but he only has the people on that have certain views, and never lets anybody counter or,
He doesn't
presenting the other
challenge
side.
doesn't challenge anybody on
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, yeah, and there's, yeah, one of the podcasts talks about that guy, and that is one of the ones that has had many men on complaining about this problem.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's not like the human race is going to die out because we don't have enough babies. The problem is we're not going to have enough babies to keep the pockets full
That's
that want all the workers or want all the investors or want all of the taxpayers or whatever it is.
yeah.
Well, that's not my problem. My problem is only to live my life with my family, surviving as best I can, and do whatever good I can in the world while I'm here. But
Okay, let me ask you. I, I, I'm, I, I'm gonna ask you, like you're on the other side.
okay.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Why is the declining birth rate so important to you? What is it that you fear? Like you're the other, you're on the right, and you're these people who are fearful. What do you think their answer would be? What are they like that they're gonna tell you? What's their fear? Why do they care? Generations on down the line are gonna what do they care? Why is it important?
Well, I think for one thing, it's important for our economic future, you know?
But you're not gonna be there for that future.
Well, but my children and
Oh,
grandchildren would
so
be.
your children and grandchildren. Okay, that's their answer, right? Pretty
And
much.
and and also that um wanting to have someone carry on the family legacy or uh you
Okay,
know
right.
that kind of thing, right? The family name or
And what kind of people carry on a family name? Now, this is I'm addressing you, Cheryl.
Okay.
What kind of people carry on family names?
Men.
But, right? But what types of people in the socioeconomic status?
Well, of course, the wealthy, the top 10% are very
Exactly. Do
concerned
they
about
really think
their wealth.
hillbillies in the backwoods of Appalachia? I want to carry on my name, my Jonestown, whatever their name is. Jonestown. What am I saying? I'm changing. I went with Jones, and then something happened. I'm so tired. So, but that's my point. Like, what I feel about the birth rates is I don't give a fuck because I won't be here. Oh, but I'm sorry, you want me to care about it and the future generations? Then why can't you care about the planet for future generations? Why
Right.
don't you care about not drilling in national parks? Why don't you care about
Hmm.
um, making sure everybody's fed and clothed and have a place to live? Why don't you care about that for future generations? But this is important to you. Oh, well, there won't be any people left. So what if, just like I talked about, what if America becomes brown? What is that? What difference does it make? Well, we're gonna lose our whiteness. We're gonna lose everything our forefathers stood for. But it just means an evolution of a different country. How many countries have changed over the years? They were this and now they're that.
Hmm.
There's no Persia anymore. We grew up with a map that had Persia on it. It's
Right.
no longer there. That's a change. Change happens. The world will still keep on turning with or without you being a certain race, a certain religion. Oh, well, we're losing our Christianity. Well, what if the whole world turned uh, one thing or the other or whatever? It's like, that's what cracks me up. It's the same thing now with the birth rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we die out, it was meant to be. Are you trying to keep certain species alive that are extinct? Why? Why
That
the
that
Earth is?
that's the funny part. What you said
Yeah,
made a lot of sense to me, and it's so true that they're so concerned about unborn children. They're so concerned about you know um, the traditional family unit and all of that.
yeah,
Why are you not as concerned then about the health of the children? So you're worried about not having, the birth rates declining. Well, people don't want to bring kids into a world that they can't afford to feed them.
exactly.
And oh, I got so much to say about that. But let me tell you something that I read. Okay, I'm going to read this because then I won't get it wrong.
Okay.
And all of this is from scattered from different places that I did the research, and I don't know if I have. I probably don't have any. I don't have any crediting going on here, so that's a bad thing. But it's easy to fact check me.
Okay.
So the total fertility rate has dropped from over 2.0 per thousand. I think that means, or yeah, I'm not sure about the
Sorry.
2.0. Anyway, in the late 2000s to around 1.6 in the 2020s. So it's declined by quite a bit. Long-term trends, the birth rate per thousand people has generally declined from over 30 in the 60s to roughly 11 and 12 births in the 2020s. So from 30 births per thousand people in 1960s to 11 to 12 births per thousand people in the 2020s. So that's a big drop.
That is a big
Okay.
drop. Yeah.
COVID had an impact in the drop. Well, that's also for
Sorry.
obvious reasons. Um, COVID, you couldn't go anywhere, so we're behind a whole year, maybe two, because of that, right?
Yeah.
Median age, women are generally pushing childbearing age to later in their life, just like you said with your daughter
That's not
and
the
my
only
youngest
reason.
daughter,
Yeah.
But that's one reason
Right.
that they're saying here.
Yeah. It's not the only reason.
Um, what here's okay. So now I'm going to get into the concerns that they say they have, and then we can talk about these after. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Wait a
Economic.
minute. Wait a minute. Can we take a pause for just a second?
Yes.
And then I'll tell you why. Give me 1 second. All right. Hold on. Algae, ouch. Sorry, no, that sucks for editing, but
That's okay.
my blinds were open because it was light, and people keep
Oh yeah.
walking back and forth, and the blinds are open, and they can just see
Oh,
me sitting
that's
here. So,
pretty
okay,
cool.
and now go ahead.
Okay, so we can talk about it after I read all of them, or we can talk about them per thing. But
Um,
the way we
whatever
tend
you think.
to go on and on, maybe we better talk about all of them first. I
Let's do
mean,
all of
go,
it first.
go
I
through all of
agree.
them first.
I'll
Okay.
nod politely.
So economic consequences and sustainability. Okay, that's one concern. A major non-racial a major non-racialized concern is that a lower fertility rate leads to a shrinking workforce. This creates fears of long-term economic stagnation, fewer innovators, and reduced economic growth. As the population ages, fewer younger working age people are available to fund social safety nets such as Social Security, Medicare, and pension systems, placing increased pressure on the economy. Okay, so the next concern they have is shifting demographic trends. Research indicates in the United States the white population has begun to decline in absolute numbers with more deaths than births, a trend projected to continue. This demographic transition, where white youth constitute less than half of the population under 15, has prompted concern among some who perceive it as a loss of cultural dominance or a threat to their political power.
Surprise, surprise. Nobody's
Right?
surprised.
Right. Okay, so the third concern, cultural and political ideology. Anxiety over falling birth rates is often linked to religious and conservative viewpoints that prioritize traditional gender roles, family structures, and sometimes pro-natalist views.
Uh-huh.
Some perspectives view women who choose not to have children as abandoning a key societal role, or argue that smaller, non-traditional families undermine social capital and community cohesion.
Ow.
Okay. Okay, so the fourth,
Yikes.
control and power dynamics. Some analyses suggest that the focus on declining birth rates is rooted in a desire to maintain traditional power structures, where men feel superior and powerful as sole providers. This is often manifested in political efforts to control women's reproductive rights, such as restricting access to abortion and contraception. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, concerns about civilizational decline is some individuals, including prominent figures like Elon Musk, have argued that low birth rates pose a greater risk to civilization than climate change. This perspective, often referred to as population alarmism, views low fertility as a sign of societal decay. so, so again, here we are. Here we are after my entire life, our mother's entire life, and the adult life of our grandmother, fighting for women's rights and for women to be seen and heard and appreciated.
Yeah.
We see the direct decision for a good portion of our country to undermine all of that and put us back 100 years.
Well, and look, I don't want to poop on anybody's ideals and all that, but um, we had some people we knew. I don't want to name names, but there's certain uh, families that we've known where the kids were married off super early, and
Mm-hmm.
they were very religious people, and they weren't all of the same religion, but basically, Christian. And I watched a whole family with the kids were getting married at like 19, 20, and 21. And it's like good for them if it lasts for them and it works out. But it was just like, wow. And two of those, oops, I kicked the dog. Sorry, dog. Two of those kids were from two women, like two separate people who went to college. One was a teacher, and then they literally said, well, our girls don't need to do college because, like, they changed their mind. They went from doing all that. Now we're religious and we don't want our kids to go to college. We want them to just stick around and be a family. And I thought, how
Wow.
did that happen? Like what? Well, I feel like it's religion because one of them was kind of, her husband was another religion, I think. And I don't know. I don't know the full story. I'm just guessing. But that's like how did you go venture out and go do all these things?
Yeah.
And but you don't want that for your kids. Like no, they don't need to go to college. They need to stay home and be moms. And I'm like, okay. And I thought that's just weird to me. I don't know.
Well,
Don't get it.
if we want to dive even deeper into this, besides religion, which is probably, you're right, the complete, it's like the main part of the, if
Yeah,
we
you
drew the
can't get
Venn
away from it. That's
diagram,
at the yeah,
that's
that's at the core.
that's like in the middle. But
Yeah.
the other thing is the perpetual uh, myth that women are not as smart as men, women can't do the same things as men, women can't survive on their own, blah blah blah, right? um, which is really funny because we see so many brilliant women through our lifetime and before, even into grandma's life,
And all different races and religions.
that have, yeah, races and religion, especially women of color. There are
Yeah.
so many brilliant women of color throughout history who have invented things,
Yeah.
or stumbled onto things, or discovered things, or whatever, that are only now getting credit and still kind of like, well, that's cute, it's, and now you've got so many female scientists out there, and mathematicians, and physics people and whatnot, types of jobs that the average person that I know wouldn't even begin to pronounce their job title, or read any of their writings, because they wouldn't understand half the words in it.
Right. I
So
would
these are
mean.
brilliant women. So, and I think, and then you see all of the athleticism, that's just exploded
Yeah.
in the women's
I
world.
got a comment about that later or
Okay.
whatever about women in sports.
Yeah,
Now
we
that you
did.
brought that up. But I forgot. I'm so loopy right now. The reason I had brought up the young people getting married, I had a point. I remember that was my segue. That's now spaced apart.
That's
But
okay.
that whole thing about the 19-year-olds getting married and stuff was that whole trad wife thing. That's
Hmm.
booming right now.
Yes.
That's what I feel like. Oh, look at my daughter, and she married this young man, and they're going to come together, and because they're believers or whatever, that's good for
Yeah.
them, and everything. And it's like, yeah, that's great. Again, if it works, but then they have in their heads now that they're supposed to have this certain role, and then they want to say, well, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do what you're doing. I'm just doing what I'm doing. But I'm sorry, there still seems to be a little bit of the under there of this is the way we were meant to be under God, and
Hmm.
everyone
Yeah.
should be this way.
There's definitely a lot of shaming going on for women who are
Yeah.
childless, or women who decide not to get married, or women who decide to have a career. But and that's, there's so many layers to this. We could do 5 podcasts on the same subject. But one of the things that I thought was
Oh,
really
sorry.
funny is I'm looking at all of these brilliant women, and I'm thinking, and we don't even, not even mentioning people of color that have gone through this, or Native Americans, or whatever, where they're suppressed, 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 and the
Right.
minute they're able to show what they can do, the floodgates open, and they've more than made up for lost time, and are now, it's like the ability to completely catch up, if not surpass, the naysayers in a tiny period of time. What does
Right.
that say about their intellect, tenacity, strength, character in general? It says a lot that they were
Well,
able to overcome and then surpass the people who are saying, "Oh, you can't do that."
right, but here's the problem for them with that. And that kind of goes back to the women's sports because in the 80s you were lifting weights And there were, and I, well, you were lifting weights to lift weights. Oh my God, I'm sorry, my dog keeps, my dog,
Jackie.
that's another thing. Boba is coughing a lot. He's
Oh,
going to be 12. So it's been a really rough animal
oh,
week.
I'm
We
sorry.
took him to the doctor because he was panting. I don't know. It
Oh,
is what it is. They get old, but it's very stressful. Anyway, so I'm sorry about that. I can't go and open the door for him, so I'll just leave it. Um, so because I was lifting weights because I was in sports, college
mhm,
basketball and all that. So I went out with a couple of gentlemen, and some of them were okay with my muscles because I was cut, you were cut. And there were some were like, you look like a man. I don't want my girl, because I was talking about I want to lift more, and they were like appalled that I had such muscles. And that was in the 80s, mid 80s. So I think it comes back to that thing where look at all we've accomplished, but they didn't want us to accomplish that.
no, they didn't.
Especially the boomers, all those boomers like the Lindsey Grahams of the world, which he's gay anyway. He's gay anyway. That probably is a bad analogy.
Oh,
We all know he's gay, and I don't care because
I know.
I, if you know me, I don't care. But you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah,
that. That's the problem. Oh wait, remember that commercial with Sheena Easton, and it was like I don't know what the commercial was for. It was for some kind of fitness shit, and it's just showing her stomach, and her stomach, and she's dancing, and just showing her stomach. This is the way I looked before. Well, she had a beautiful figure and stomach,
mhm,
but it was just a regular stomach. And then it showed it with muscle, like here I am now. And I don't know why that always plays in my mind, like how many guys, and I even thought that then as a young adult, how
mhm.
many guys would look at that and be like, ew, I liked it better before, all soft, not with,
Right.
definition. But yet, again, a young man that I know had said they don't want any fatties, they don't want any fatties. And I'm like, wow, really? So they don't want women to get big. They want you to keep your shape, but they don't want you too muscular. It's all the same shit. And
Well,
anybody who watched the Barbie movie would see America
oh yeah,
Ferrera's monologue in that, and that'll tell you right there. And she had that whole monologue is
mhm,
badass. It
it
hits the
is.
nail on the head perfectly.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize the history. I know, I'm sure my kids and my grandkids don't know this, but the the women in like the Victorian era or even like the 1800s, well, even beyond that. But when they started wearing the huge poofy dresses and the corsets and the bustiers and all that, um, it's a lot like the geishas, where they're forced to wear these things because society says that's what they want to see their women looking like. So
Yeah.
then male fashion designers jump on that because now they are being paid, highly paid by men to get their woman to look like that woman, and
Exactly.
to be accepted into some of the high society parties or whatever. You had
Yeah.
to dress a certain way and it had to be a
Yeah.
certain kind of fabric, and your woman had to move in a very slow and graceful way. Well, the reason that they moved that way was because, from what I read, first of all, the dresses were so huge. You had to learn how to move in between people without knocking them over or without them stepping on your dress. So you had to walk very slowly and very gracefully, watching where you're going, holding onto your dress. I mean, that's just
You
one
can't
example.
sit down. Like
You
there's only a
can't
certain way
sit
you can
down.
sit down,
The
but they just
corset,
didn't
they
sit
could
down.
hardly breathe.
Yeah.
It was so tight they could hardly breathe. So it's when you think about just that. I mean, there's so much more to it, but
Yeah, that's a
they
drop in
were
the
they were
bucket.
the big hair things that were mostly wigs or hats, the weird hats
Yeah.
they had to wear, and to
Yeah.
keep them from falling off, they had to be very stiff and very graceful and fluid, but also stiff. It's like they've been deciding what makes you an appropriate woman in society's view.
You know what's funny when you just said that? I don't know why that just stuck in my head, but the modern day, I'm sorry, I don't know which country it is, Arabic country that I'm thinking of. Um, that the ladies once they mature, they have to wear the what's it called again? Burqa? No.
Oh, the burqa. Yeah.
Is that what it is? The full.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of that because think about it. You watch movies about old Victorian times and the kids, girls and boys are playing together. They're running around. The girls are not wearing those kind of dresses. They're usually wearing just regular dresses, right? So the kids are running around playing and stuff. So we did that, or, well, a lot of that was in England, I'm just saying, but it's the same thing.
Hmm.
They're doing the same thing that the Victorians did then, because they're like, okay, when you're kids, it's okay. You can show your hair and everything, but once you mature and become a woman or a young gentleman or whatever,
Hmm.
now you have to act a certain way. And I think in America, like, that came over here a little bit, there was a little bit of that. And then it's that same thing where there's that core group of people,
Hmm.
whoever it was, Quakers, Masons, whoever it was, that decided they wanted things to stay like that. And you have this group, and then they're trying to grab this group. Oh, come to our circle. And they've tried so hard, and they're still doing it today. There's that group. Oh yeah, the ones that in the State of the Union address that was just given, and the group that didn't stand up, because there's the small group that did stand up. You know what I mean? It's that same thing. Like there's always that small little group of hatred, and
Hmm.
eventually they're going to get toppled. And so I don't know how that's going to help with the birth rate or not. But you see what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
we just can't be. They have to control
They have to
everything.
control everything, and that's the whole point. Is that,
Yeah.
that you you've got men for centuries, actually thousands of years. Let's just be real here, controlling everything
Sorry.
that the women in society do. Now, not every culture is that way. Some cultures never did change. They always had a balanced or a matriarch society. But in the quote civilized, I should say colonized areas,
Yeah, right.
um, there's this domination, and they can't stand to see us break out of that. Well, what is freedom then? What the
Yeah.
fuck is freedom? If you're going to say that we're a free country, that means freedom for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. And if I want to have a career as a woman, if I want to go on
Right.
or if a woman wants to be in politics and become the president, why are they afraid of that? It's
Right.
because of the control. They're losing their control,
See?
and they're losing their ability to make more babies,
Yeah. More worker bees.
more worker bees.
More worker bees.
They don't
Well,
want to
like,
tax the billionaires for the assistance benefits for people who are in need. They would rather that the worker bees build up that account to pay for that.
well, and they won't even agree to a flat tax. Well,
Right.
that's millions of dollars I'm losing. Well, Joe Thousandaire is losing thousands of dollars a year from him
Right.
too. It's
Right.
fair. The flat tax is the most fair shit I've
It
ever
is.
heard.
I
How
totally
can they
agree.
dispute that?
Right.
How?
Because
Um,
if you do a flat tax, you're going to take away all the loopholes.
exactly. That,
And
yeah,
that's
we
what
know
they're
that.
doing.
We know that.
Yeah.
Oh God, you said something now. I forgot.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Anyway, continue. Maybe I'll think of it.
That's all right. No, I mean, I went through most of this stuff, and I think we've probably talked about most of it. But what's funny to me is the whole thing about cry, oh yeah, I can't find a partner. Yeah, yeah, women do, I can't find the kind of woman I want. Well, dude, you're not attractive. You know, you're not
You're not the
attractive.
kind of guy we want. And then
Yeah,
you're not asking, how do I be better? You're
right.
asking, why don't
Why
you?
don't you let me dominate you? What's wrong with you?
Wait,
You
oh,
know?
I know what I was going to say. I know what I was going to say.
Okay.
We were talking about the previous thing. That it's not that they'll say, well, you're free to do all those things. You're free to go to college. You're free to not have kids, whatever. But the whole point is, yeah, we're free to do that. And you say that like, oh, everybody's free. Yeah, you're free to vote. You're free to do a lot of things, but you're making it harder. Like with the voting, they want women to not only for our real IDs. I have to prove my, my first marriage and my divorce, my second marriage, blah, blah, blah. If you change your name, okay?
Mhm.
Women have to do all that because of marriage. So, and that goes for kids who are probably adopted. That goes for women who've been adopted. That goes
Oh
for
yeah.
any name change. It's all about the name change, right?
Hmm.
So you're making it harder. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're free to do it, but you're making it harder. And why are you making it harder? Because you know that if you put those roadblocks up, a lot of people will give up. Ah, fuck it. I might
Yeah.
as well not go anywhere, or I might as well not vote and make my voice count. I might as well just, I'm not going to get birth control or have access to abortion. So I guess I'm going to have to take a chance on having a kid. And now that kid's going to grow up maybe in an unhappy home. But by God, that if that kid can work, well, maybe that kid commits suicide. Maybe that kid becomes a druggie. Maybe that kid becomes homeless. So they don't care though, because they know if they produce 100,000 kid worker bees, their odds are pretty good that there's going to be this amount of percentage that I'm going to have a bunch of fuck ups
Exactly.
over here in
They don't
their
care
eyes. I
about
didn't say
they
that.
don't they
That's in
don't
their
care about
eyes.
the ones that fall along the wayside.
Or the kids that are born
Yeah.
like the 10 kids that are in the class that I'm a
Yes.
paraeducator for
Yeah.
with trachs and are born that
Hmm.
they're in the autism. Oh well, autism could be solved by not taking Tylenol and not getting vaccinations. Of
Oh
course,
yeah,
RFK
of
Jr.
course.
He knows that. He knows that. So that'll solve that problem right
Did you
there.
did you watch any of the commentary or the
On the
live?
State of the Union,
No, that's a whole other podcast too.
I ain't
No,
fucking watching that, but I
but
got all the stuff on
they're trying. The Republicans are trying to push through Trump's choice for Surgeon General, and he's
Oh,
chosen a woman, a pretty blonde woman,
of course. Wait,
who
does she look like the rest? Does she already look like the
not
Trump faces, the Mar-a-Lago face
not
yet?
quite. I think
Oh,
she's a
okay.
little too old to go there.
Oh,
She's
okay.
probably maybe a little. She's probably like my oldest daughter's age or something. I mean, she's
Oh, okay.
probably in her 40s. Anyway, um, she has never been in the medical field. She's not a doctor. She
Okay.
has she does not have any medical experience, and she said, "I wish I'd have wrote this down or pulled it up for you," but she said something to the effect of, and this was in some kind of whether it was an interview or a paper she wrote or a post, I don't know what it was, but she said something to the effect of birth control being like a that birth control basically that it's a destructive mechanism, and that we're giving out birth control like candy, and
Wow.
that it basically needs to be regulated because it's in effect killing children before they have a chance to be even
Is she Catholic?
made. I don't know, but I mean, so I wish I had the exact quote because I'm butchering everything she said, but that's where she stands. So the point being,
Wow.
the Democrats are,
Good
grilling
Lord.
her and
What?
trying to say, no, we're not going to let you be the Surgeon General. You should at least have been a doctor and you should at least have some medical education if you're going to be the Surgeon General. And you also have to be Surgeon General for all health issues for everybody in America, not just for the Christian right.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't
And they
know.
were
I haven't
talking
been
about
keeping up on that.
getting rid of birth control is just insane. But they're pushing that.
Because of the low birth rate. That's all it's
Yes.
about.
Yes.
But they don't think that people are smart enough to see that. They really think we're just gonna put this to nothing to see here while I'm doing this over here. They really believe they're getting away with it. And it's not that they're getting away with it from their cronies. They know exactly what they're doing. That's what people think. How can these Republican people follow him? And don't they know? They know exactly what's
I know
going on.
exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, they want to be part of the in crowd. That's all it's about. They want to be in the
Yeah.
popular in crowd, and while he's popular, they're popular, and they're riding his coattails. They're all riding
Well,
the wave.
it's also all okay until something comes up that affects them.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
if you have a wealthy if I were one of those women who there's this wealthy man swoops me up and I don't have to work. I'm just going to dress nice and buy things and have the the cook fix him dinner at night, and the housekeeper clean up our room for him, and whatever. And the nanny take care of our children. So it's easy for a woman in that situation to say, well, of course. It's just like the Handmaid's Tale, totally.
Yeah.
Where the woman who, can't have the children, she's the queen,
Yeah.
and then she gets to pick all of these other women to have her children.
Yeah.
So the worker bees are the ones doing everything, including having the children. They're cleaning the house, they're cooking the meals. So we are living in a society where there's a big push by a handful of people to create a slave state,
Yeah.
and we've been
Exactly.
blind to it for years.
Well,
Well, some people have been blind to it.
yeah. Some people have been trying to tell people for years, oh, that's conspiracy theory.
Right.
That's what all they say. It's conspiracy theory.
And yet each little law that tries to get passed, or each little new voting thing that, it's just like checking off the list of things that narrow their path to
Right.
what they want.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't. I mean, I don't. I look at my news in the morning, just my Apple News, and I get the latest headlines, and I try to go over it before I go to work to stay informed. I used to watch the news shows a lot. I just don't because I don't have time. And then I listen, like I said, to the monologues because they'll make fun of whatever the headlines were, and I get my humor, and I get yeah, it's one sided. I admit I don't give a shit. It's all one sided, but I do find out what the other side is saying, whatever. But I'm politically, I'm just not. I'm not there. I'm not at that station. I'm not. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not at that level. But I just think it's funny that I always the immaturity in me just comes back to things like Harry Potter or any of these fantasy shows that we watch, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, and all of those things happen. The taking over governments and the villains and the this side versus this side and the ridiculousness of one side versus the other. And it's we all see ourselves, of course, on the good side, helping people. And it's like, why is all of our fantasy movies then, if you like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings and all that, it's all the lefty liberal woke creatures or aliens or whatever that are winning.
Right.
They're the ones that are winning. So
Yes.
do you do you man look at Superman? Superman, my shirt I was wearing today. I'm not wearing it now, but that's what I wore to work. My Superman shirt's my favorite. It'll always be my favorite superhero. Of course, Christopher Reeves. He was the best to me.
Right.
But that whole thing is about helping people,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like, where did that all go? Where did
Right.
that all go? So I don't know.
Well, like we keep saying, and we hear a lot of other people say, follow the money. That's
Yeah.
the answer is always.
And the
It's
whiteness. Follow
always
the whiteness.
the white money.
The
Yeah, and
white male money, because those white women that go like this, oh, I'm progressive or whatever,
yeah,
I do have a career, but I also raise kids. But in a sense, like you said, the ones you see on TV, all of those people on TV have all the money and, like you said, all the help they need. Don't let them fool you for a second that they're completely raising their kids on their own. They follow their husbands around like little lap doggies and Trump and everybody else to see what should I do next. They're not independent of shit.
no.
I don't believe it. I don't.
Well,
They're
and
the
they
trad
certainly,
wives wrapped in a Mar-a-Lago face box, is what they are.
yeah, and the the weird face thing is just creepy
Yeah.
as hell, man.
I love those side by side
So
comparisons. Like,
funny.
you've
I
changed
know.
so much. It wasn't even
Yeah,
just, look, I don't have a problem. Like, if I had money, you're damn straight, I'd get work done. I would. If I had money tomorrow or I hit the lottery, I would because I would like to look better.
yeah,
But I would not do. That's just me. There, I wouldn't go with the. I just, whatever. You want to get fillers and stuff, that's fine. I know people who have done it and it looks fine. But if you, to that extent, man, that change, like you don't see yourself for the worse. Like,
right.
and I don't want to, real quick on that note, I thought I was gonna send you a screenshot of somebody that I've seen on Instagram, somebody that we used to know, and they are young, and they said, "What a difference! Look at how much better I look." And I was like, "Oh my God, you look so." Oh, they don't realize you look weird. You don't
Yeah,
look. And I know people that say the same age as that person their natural beauty is beautiful. And it's like you didn't need to do that. You were already a pretty person. And it's just like I'll send it to you later. It was
Okay.
just so upsetting. Like, why would you do that? And
And
how it's like the body dysmorphia. They look in the mirror and
it,
they see,
mhm,
and you don't.
exactly what it
You
is. And
don't.
but trying to look like other people so that you can be part of the club, that is
Yeah.
creepy.
I just don't want my eyelid sagging, so I can't read. I think I'm squinting, and then I'm like,
Well,
oh my god, are those my eyelids?
there are some kinds of things that
Yeah,
become necessary, but I'm talking about to
yeah,
change the structure of your face so that it looks like
yeah,
somebody else that you admire
yeah.
or that you want to be a part of. That's
That's
just,
body dysmorphia
yeah,
right there.
it
That's
is.
the absolute definition.
It is.
Be happy
But,
with yourself. I mean, I'm happy, and I'll probably be this way the rest of my life or whatever, and get old. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, well, if I had money, yeah, I probably would. I'd get
but,
my torso and
but
mommy.
see
What is
that
it? A mommy makeover? I
it's,
do all
it's
that.
like, it's like the Stepford wives though.
Yeah, no,
It's
there's
like
a
the Stepford
limit.
wives. It's like
Yeah,
the men encourage this because they want a certain kind of, image on their arm, right?
yeah,
And the women want so badly to be accepted into that society that they're like the women in the big dresses with the corsets. They want to be accepted in that society, so they go have
yeah.
all that work done because and you want to hold on to your man because you know that he'll leave you if you show a wrinkle anywhere on your face, right? Or
Right,
if your
right.
boobs are sagging, he'll leave
It's
me.
sad, really. I feel, to be
What a way
honest,
to
in the end,
live.
well, to be honest, in the end, I really feel sorry for a lot of those people. A lot of them make me very angry, and I really loathe Trump. But I feel sorry for a lot of these people that they're being duped. That
Yeah.
it's sad. It's sad to
Yes.
watch them. And people we know, the people that go and say crazy stuff, and I'm like,
Mhm.
man, I'm so sorry for you. It's sorry that you feel that way. And maybe they feel that way
Well,
about us too. I don't know.
and again, the answer to the decline in birth rate and the answer to the poor white men who can't find a partner, that's there it is.
Yeah.
You're looking for that image of a woman, and you might find that, but it's definitely not going to satisfy everything that you're looking for. And
Yeah.
there's no way that woman is going to ruin her body to have children after all that work gets done.
Well, hey, remember that song Till Tuesday?
I,
He said, "Shut up." He said, "Shut up." Oh,
oh yeah,
why
yeah,
can't? Yeah, and that's and then she has the little tail, and they're at like an opera, and he reaches over and fiddles with her little tail. She has short white hair, blonde hair, and like he disapproves that she's got that little '80s tail going or whatever. And that's me. That song is for me, because I'm funny and flirty and I would get with somebody, but then it was like, okay, now that I have you, I don't want you acting. I want a freak in the sheets, but a lady in, what is it, street? That
yeah.
I was a wild child, and yeah, yes, I was wild. We'll just stop right there and say I was wild. And it was like, oh wow, I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life. And then when you didn't get my wild side for when you got kids and you're going to work and you're like, I'm not gonna be as wild anymore. Where's the wild person I fell in love with? It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
and then they get irritated and then they want to go look elsewhere or whatever. But that's the thing, they get excited about who you were because, man, she's a wildcat or she's fun, but then it's like you're too loud, you're
Yeah,
too flirty. And it's like I've always been this way. Why are you trying to change me? You saw me as this person and now I have to change because I'm your wife, or your girlfriend. So
right.
yeah, that's happened to me before, and other people I know, and it's just, you wonder why you having problems, like you said. Men, why are you having problems? You can't act that way. Except if you want to accept her for who she is and accept her, and if her body changes
Mhm.
because she had kids, fuck you, man. That's
Yeah,
that's natural. What the
that,
hell?
that's the whole thing is the key to a lasting relationship is that you find the right person from the beginning, number one, and beyond that is you find the right person from the beginning for the right reasons not just because of how beautiful they are in the moment, how sexy they are in bed, how whatever, or
Right.
how uh, uh, popular they make you feel, or you
Yeah.
know, it, it's supposed to be your eternal best friend,
Right.
you know. And if you can't see it that way, you're never going to find the right person. So, you know, so and for the men who are in their late 30s that are whining about this and whining about the decline in population, but they don't have children and they're not married yet, well, maybe slow down. Stop trying to, impress everybody,
Yeah.
and make it your mission to find somebody who's like minded, you know?
Well, that's just it. If it's mostly people on the right who are making this complaint, then why can't you find women that are on the right?
Yeah.
So why are you bugging all of the lefty liberals that are choosing to wait until they're
Why are you
30 to have babies?
why are you that and that's the funny part. Why are they so busy trying to change people like us instead of just pursuing more
Yeah.
people like them?
Procreate with your people.
It's the same reason that they have to cheat in elections and everything else. They can't keep up. They
Yes.
can't keep up. So they can't do it naturally. So they
Yeah.
have to find ways to suppress everything else so that they can come out on top. I
See,
mean,
this
it's
is the thing.
all
They
playbook.
they don't want to be like a bunch of Duggar families having 20 kids. They don't want to do it. Well,
They just want all of us to do it.
I don't want to have 8 kids. Well, unless there may be certain religions that have more kids, okay, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so how do people not see? Those people are not the ones that are want to have all the kids. They want their 2.5 kids, whatever. Okay? So they want people that are on assistance, but they don't want people on assistance sucking up all the money. But they
Right.
really want those types of people that are not that are gonna continue to have kids. And their idea that don't they
Yeah.
always say that? Oh, welfare babies, welfare babies.
Right.
Well, you took the welfare away, and now you want those types of people to continue having babies.
You
How
take
are they
away.
going to feed all those
Yeah.
babies?
Yeah. Exactly. So
That's yeah.
their
And
logic is so screwed up.
right. And again, they don't want to lose their whiteness, but the white people don't want to have all those kids. Well, what are you going to do? So
What do
you don't
you?
want birth control. You
Hmm.
low birth weight. Pick your poison.
Yeah,
No?
it would really be great if Elon would hurry up with his Mars project. Although now he's decided he's not going to go to Mars. But anyway,
Yeah.
go
The moon.
gather up all of the people that believe like you, and you know, and just
Go start a new planet. That'd
go
be
start
great.
a new planet.
Well,
Leave
dude,
us
that's like that.
alone.
Dude, that's like that movie Don't Look Up. Oh my God, that was
Oh, I love
fantastic.
that movie. That was great. Yeah,
They
yeah,
did do that and they got their comeuppance.
yep. Anyway, I guess we've
Beat this dead horse.
probably beat this enough, but yeah,
Well,
I'm just uh, I'm just hoping that we can stop the progress of this, because again, that's you know it goes all the way back to Eve and probably beyond that. There's so much history to this
yeah,
situation,
yeah,
and we don't have time
no,
really without
no,
making this super long.
yeah,
But you know, all of the goddess worshiping cultures were wiped out and forced into the patriarchal cultures,
yep,
at least in the Western civilization, and
yeah.
so here we are fighting the same
Well,
battle we've been fighting for centuries.
and when you without again getting into it, but the bringing the religion into it because that has such a big factor too that you you can't do that if we're going to be a free society and separation of
Mhm.
church and state. I know they don't want that. It's like you can't make it one-sided. You cannot do that.
Right.
It's not going to work. That is a dictatorship, and that is the communism or even socialism that you're afraid of. You cannot have one religion for the country. You cannot do that.
Yep.
No,
No, nope, no,
nope,
nope,
no,
no, nope.
nope.
That's
No
a
soda.
that's a tribute to our favorite little guy. That's so much like
Is it Ethan and Eli?
I think
That
so.
the little autistic boys that I love to watch so much because they
Yeah,
remind me of Jason.
so much like
Nope.
Jason. Yeah. Remember when Jace used to say, "Baba, nope"?
Yep.
When
Bye-bye.
you'd ask
Nope.
him something he didn't want it, "Baba, nope." I don't know what that was, but
Or
it was funny.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I go, you better stop doing that or you're gonna get in trouble. And thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Jason, is he at the house?
He is. He's out watching TV with Mike.
He
So
hasn't been like a toddler or like, you know,
he
mommy,
stood by the door
mommy.
a few minutes ago. I could hear him whispering by the door, like
Oh,
trying to, but he didn't open it. He's pretty good. So yeah.
oh, okay.
So yeah. Well,
All
thanks,
right.
audience, for
Yes,
letting
thank you
me
for sticking
rant.
with us. Sorry, I'm out of
No,
sorts. I couldn't even drink tonight because number one, it's a Thursday night and I got to work tomorrow, and number two, I can't with this.
no.
That would be
And
terrible.
I know how you're feeling, and I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I
Yeah.
know I didn't give it to you, so I don't feel
No.
guilty, but I do feel
Well,
bad for you.
I will say, okay, I did right up there with Mike, but I got sick that night. I don't think I would have got sick that quick for Mike. I don't even
No.
want to say I was sick. I had a lung irritation, though. Because again, I didn't have any phlegm really or anything, just, but
Well, if it somehow did get passed to you,
it
I'm
is
sorry
what it
for that.
is. It's all
But
right.
it does get better.
I
It
didn't
takes
lose
time.
I didn't lose any money over it. So
And
that's all I care about.
the fog,
The fog.
it is a real deal.
Dude, I'm already fucking foggy, so I can't be any foggier.
Just take your time on everything.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
I have. The kids wanted to play ball at recess. I go, Miss Wendy has to sit in a chair. I'll play ball with you, but I cannot run around today. And I did get a burst of energy and then I regretted it
Uh-huh,
because I'm like,
that's
yeah.
totally what I'm thinking.
So nope.
It's like do not oh nope. Do not
Nope.
strain yourself. Oh goodness.
No. That was the other one.
No.
No.
Yeah, he pulls back. No.
No.
I just love it. It's so
I know.
sweet. All right.
Well, thanks, sis, again for putting it all together, doing the footwork. I'm your mouthpiece only.
No,
Just kidding.
that's not true.
I still got to work on those clips for TikTok and stuff. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Right. Well,
All right, everybody.
I will be trying to figure out how to edit this on this program. So
Okay.
this is new.
We're on a
So
new program. Yeah, we're in a
got
new
a
program.
couple days to get it ready for Sunday. So yeah.
All right.
So we'll see how this goes.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I want you to get some
Yep.
sleep. Tomorrow's Friday. At least you can
Yep. Friday.
relax.
I can come home and sleep.
There you go.
All
All
right.
right.
Love you, sis.
You too. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.